Hello everyone, welcome back. What kind of a mood are you in today? Are you in a good mood? A bad mood? My hair is in a mood today, but that doesn't matter. The point is you are coming to your mat once again to do some movement. Be consistent with your movement. You will see change happen eventually. The whole point is come to your mat, do what you can, even if it's a little less some days that you want to. And on those days that you're feeling really good, then go that little bit more intensity if you are okay with it. The idea is not to push the intensity always and then constantly feel bad or overexerted. We want to exert a little bit of energy, and then we want to take it down a little bit. We want to exert, relax, exert, relax. So we want to find the balance, and it's all about finding the balance depending on what mood you are in. So if today's a good day or a bad day, I'm glad that you are here and that you are going to take some movement with your body. So let's start in whichever position that you feel will help or benefit the mood that you are in right now. Is it going to be a sit position? Is it going to be a cross-legged? Is it going to be our traditional Shavasana? You decide. And start to get comfortable. Start the process of releasing the outside distractions, the outside tensions, so that we can find some calm, so that we can find some release while we're here on our mat. So as you settle into whichever shape you have chosen, you might want to tune into the breath. Sometimes we need something to occupy our minds because there is so much going on that it's very hard to just turn everything off. And most people cannot do that. So tuning into the breath is a very simple exercise for you to kind of focus in. And perhaps you're even able to close your eyes and use that inner eye, that invisible one, the one that you can still see with having your physical outside eyes closed. You can use that eye to scan your body, maybe feel the tension spots, to become aware of them. Maybe you have to take a different modification today. And that's okay. The whole point, I always tell you that. Choose a modification that suits you best for this moment. So as you breathe, release, and find calmness. Always a nice practice to do before your physical movement. And some days you will find that you need more time at the beginning of your practice just to settle in. And other days, the smoothness, the calmness comes very quickly. And that's why your yoga practice is constantly changing. It is never exactly the same. Never. There's always these little differences. Notice them. Notice the little shifts in your body. The important thing is that you are moving your body. That's the most important thing. Take a few more breaths here and notice perhaps the smoothness of your breath. A nice big inhale, the nice big exhale. And if ever you get distracted, frustrated, or any of those emotions creep into your practice, just come back to your breath. Ask yourself, am I on an inhale? Am I on an exhale? And how can I use my breath to make me feel better? Take a nice big full inhale here and sigh out a breath. If you are in a sit position, make your way down to your back. And if you are already there, draw your knees in. And then just play around with how tight you'd like to draw those knees in. So it might feel good to tuck them in really tight, maybe just a loose hand on your knee might be more comfortable. Just take a little bit of movement here, a little wiggle jiggle side to side. And just kind of notice how your back feels. You might notice your hips, your low back, your spine. And just notice literally the back side of your body on the floor, on your mat. And then you might even play around with opening and closing your knees. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge space between your knees. Just getting a little bit of motion in those hip sockets. You don't have to worry about breath, but if you are working on it, it's an exhale to open the knees and an inhale to bring the knees back together, facing up towards the ceiling. And just play around with the shape here. The shape of your knees, hips, thighs. There's no right or wrong here. Literally just move around a little bit in the legs, feet, ankles, hips. Maybe simply rocking side to side is working wonderfully for you. And then come to stillness. I'm going to release the right leg back down to the floor, and I'm going to take a figure 4 with my legs. So hook the left ankle just above the right knee. And just notice how that left knee opens out to the left side. And once again, take some movement here. You're just kind of rocking your knees side to side. If you prefer the traditional figure 4 where you are drawing your right knee in towards your chest, you can go there. But right now, at this moment, this little rock side to side is suiting me just fine. I'm going to take about 3 or 4 more breaths here, and I'm just gently going to open up the knee a little bit more with my hand to work into that hip socket. So I'm gently pushing down on my left thigh just to get a little different sensation.
Release the left knee back in towards your chest, and then place the left foot down onto the floor. Both feet are planted. Once again, take a little wiggle jiggle. And then prep for the other side. So I'm keeping my left foot on the floor. I'm drawing my right knee in first, so I'm bending at my knee first, and then I'm opening up into my figure four. And again, I don't want my foot right here on top of my knee, because that's not going to be comfortable right on the bone. So I'm kind of taking the outside ankle to the thigh. Where on the thigh you place it will be a personal preference. And again, you can go the traditional left knee up into the chest, or I'm just going to go side to side, because right now, like I said, that feels really nice on my back, and I'm going to stick with it. It's just enough movement. It's not too much tension for me right now. And that's what I'm going to go with. And then I'm going to come to stillness, and I'm going to gently coax out a little bit more out of my right hip. So I'm going to take my right hand and gently push down on the thigh knee area. So I'm pushing my right knee down towards the floor. Gently, I'm not pushing so hard that I'm shifting my entire body. No, just a little bit, just to kind of wake up those muscles. And then release that. Right knee into the chest, left knee into the chest, and once again, take a little bit of movement. What is going to work best for you? And then slowly make your way up into tabletop. Do you want to go through a rock and roll? Do you want to go to the side with your feet? How are you going to make it into your tabletop? And it's just a quick tabletop because I just want to set up my hands and my knees, and I'm going to sit back into an active child's pose. So my hands are on the floor, but my arms, my forearms are not. And I'm just going to take again some movement into that hip crease. I'm just going to rock side to side here. Just a little bit of movement. And then playing around with the knee position. And then I'm going to come to stillness and drop the chest down to the floor. Active child's pose, pushing into the fingertips, getting a nice stretch in the upper back, shoulder area. And then release into a passive child's pose where there's no tension. You're not holding anything. You're just letting it go. Just take a breath or two here. And then once you're ready, come back into your tabletop. Set your hands, tuck the toes under, inhale here, and with an exhale, lift up into your downward facing dog. And once again, readjust the feet if you need to make sure that you lengthen your spine first and then lengthen out the legs. So you can play around with a different foot position in your down dog. At this point, you might even be pedaling out your feet, walking your dog. Notice how your hamstrings feel. Notice how your spine feels. What is going to work best for you right now? Are you still breathing? How is that breath? Is it nice and smooth? If you're moving, come to stillness, finish your exhale, and with your inhale, slowly baby step those feet forward to your fold. I'm going to try a little bit of a different foot position. I'm going to take my feet a little wider as I inhale up to my flat back and exhale once again into my forward fold. And I'm just going to see, how does this feel? With my feet wider, does it make a different sensation on your legs, on your back? Take an inhale once again to come up to the flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale up to a mountain pose. Taking your time with your first one. How does it look? How does it feel? Maybe readjusting those feet once again, bringing them a little bit narrower. And taking a full cycle of breath here. Noticing how you feel. With an inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Step the left foot back and come to a nice low lunge. You find your position. Inhale, torso, arms reach up. And then sink into your version of a low crescent lunge. Where is it going to feel best for you? Where are your arms going to feel best for your shoulders? Maybe try a different modification, a little bit of a different shape. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, come back up to the center, reaching the arms up. And with an exhale, side bend to your right. I'm going to drop my right arm down towards the mat and just notice how you open up the left side of your body. If your balance is really bad, take your gaze down and try not to collapse your torso forward. If anything, try to open up the torso towards the front or even towards the sky. You won't get there 100%, but open up that left shoulder. Straighten out the spine, both arms reach. And now exhale your hands back behind you. And I'm just going to place them kind of on my hips. And I can do a little bit of a back bend here. So inhale, straighten that spine. And with an exhale, maybe take that heart center up. Maybe take the gaze up towards the ceiling. And get a little bit of a back bend here. And just notice, how does it feel? If it doesn't feel good, come back to your neutral spine. And just hang there for 1 or 2 breaths. If you're in a back bend, inhale to straighten out that spine. And exhale, hands come back down to the floor, frame the front foot, lift the back knee, and you're going to step back to your downward facing dog. And once again, move around if it feels good for you. Find the comfort. Find that sweet spot. You want the sweet spot that you can be resting in down dog. You have a little bit of energy exertion, yes, but not so much that you can't catch your breath. One more full breath in your down dog. And once again, inhale, come forward to your fold. Exhale. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up to a standing position. And then come to mountain pose. Once again, readjusting if you need. Maybe take a little bit of movement to release something. Come to stillness in your mountain pose. Inhale, arms sweep. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold, fingertips to the floor. Inhale that right leg back behind you. Drop the back knee. And inhale up to your low crescent lunge. Sink into it. Find a comfort spot for you. Your body will tell you where you should move. What is going to feel good? Do you need a little help underneath that right knee? Are your hands on your waist a better option for you? Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, twist to your left. Get a little bit of rotation in that spine. Inhale, back to your low crescent lunge. And this time as you exhale, side bend to your left. So I'm reaching high with my right hand and low with my left hand. But open up that torso so that it's reaching upward. Maybe that left hand has to be on your thigh for a little bit of balance. Feel the openness on the right side of your body here. Inhale to straighten out that spine. Exhale, hands swim down, either on your waist, on your hip. Try to open up that collarbone with an inhale, and with an exhale, lift that heart center and a little bit of a back bend. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper this time in a back bend, but watch what your low back is telling you. Don't push it so hard that you're uncomfortable. We gently want to get into these back bends. Opening up the front side of the body here. Take a full cycle of breath here, if you can. Inhale to straighten out your spine. Exhale, hands come to the floor, framing that foot. Lift the back knee, step back to your down dog, but drop down into your child's pose right away. And make this a passive, easy one. After the back bends, if you attempted them, you want to release your low back here in the opposite direction. So a child's pose here is the simplest counter move of a back bend. So once again, just taking a breath or two to release any tension in that spine that you may have created. Back bends are tricky. We want to get into them deep, but many times our back actually says, no, I don't want to go that deep. So that's why we gently have to go into them a little bit at a time. One more full cycle of breath here. And then lift the torso. Just take a little breath here. And then we're coming back into our downward facing dog. And in your downward facing dog on this try, notice if you notice anything different. Do you feel that maybe your spine is a little longer, straighter? Are your legs a little straighter? Finish your exhale, and then make your way again into your forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And come up to a standing position. And just take a breath here, maybe a little bit of movement. And we are going to work on our feet and balance here a little bit. So if you notice that your balance is a little off today, you might want to investigate a foot position that's slightly wider than those hip bones. Don't go too wide because it's not going to help you, but maybe just slightly wider than what you normally stand in your mountain pose. So we're going to work the legs first and then maybe add in some arms. We'll see. How do we feel? So the idea here is to go as slow as you possibly can. This isn't supposed to be cardio. So we're just going to start with the feet. With an inhale, see if you can lift both of your heels and come up onto your tippy toes. And then with an exhale, drop the heels back down to the floor. Now for some of you, this is going to be very awkward. You're going to lose your balance, but do the best you can. Let's try that a few more times. Up onto the tippy toes. Drop the heels down. Yes. Tippy toes. Heels down. Yes. Inhaling up to tippy toes. Exhaling, heels down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, lift out of your chair pose. Come up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, heels drop, chair pose. Yes. Inhale, lift, try tippy. Exhale, heels down, chair. Continue with this. Inhale to lift. Exhale, down, sink. How's your balance? Try not to rush. Don't worry if you fall. Inhale, lift. Ooh, I lost my balance. Exhale, down. Can you add a little bit of arms? Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Are you doing good? My balance is not good today. Tippy toes is hard. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's try two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One last one. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Inhale, lift. Exhale, chair. Hold your chair. Woo. Feel your feet into the floor. Find the chair. Can you sink 1 more millimeter lower? Yes, you can. A little bit lower. A little bit lower. Hold that chair. Breathe, breathe. Don't hold your breath. Hold your chair. Inhale here. And as you exhale, forward fold. Let go. Nice job. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Step back to your down dog. And is down dog for you restful right now? Do you want movement in your down dog? Maybe your rest is a tabletop. Take some movement, release. Maybe play around with tucking toes under or coming onto the tops of your feet. It depends. If your arches and your toes don't get a lot of movement, that little thing that we just did in mountain pose to chair pose might be a little stressful. So take 2 or 3 breaths just to release wherever you have some tension. Slowly make your way to your bum. And we're going to come into a half straddle. So don't worry, don't let that word straddle scare you. One leg is going to go long, a little bit open. So it's not straight in front of me, yes? I'm going to go a little bit to the side. So I'm going to extend my right leg long, and I'm going to tuck my left foot in. Where you decide, what is comfortable for you. You want to be on both of your sit bones though. So don't be so open or so much in a spot that you're only sitting on one butt cheek. Be on both. So my left foot is in, right leg extended, left arm will inhale up, and as I exhale, I'm taking a side bend once again to the right. As you side bend here towards that long leg, just notice, did you collapse your torso forward towards the floor? If you notice that you're looking at the floor, come out of it a little bit so that you can open up that collarbone forward or even one day up to the sky. So my left knee is trying to relax. But if you're like me, I'm holding a little bit of tension in that knee. Inhale to straighten out the spine, release the arms, both arms back behind you, and then release that left leg long, and just give those legs a little wiggle jiggle. And now I'm going to keep my left leg long. I'm going to bring my right foot in towards that thigh. And again, I'm going to find both of those sit bones. Inhale, right arm up towards the sky. Feel that spine lengthen out. And then exhale into your side bend to the left. And again, it's towards the long leg. You might be so flexible, both in your hips and your spine, that one day this top arm for me, which is right now my right arm, maybe this right arm will be able to touch those left toes in a side bend with the chest facing open upward. Right now you can see that my fingertips are nowhere close to my toes, but I am feeling a nice lengthening on the right side of my body, and that's what we want. Try to soften the legs, soft neck. Inhale to straighten out the spine, release the arm down, extend both of your legs, and just give yourself a little bit of movement. And then I am going to come down onto my back, but I am going to bring something along with me, some sort of a prop. I can use a block, I can use a blankie, or I can use my bolster. I'm going to use my bolster today because I'm feeling, I think I'm going to like softness as opposed to my hard block. So I'm going to come down to the back, and I'm coming into a supported bridge. So bend at the knees, the feet are on the floor. Push into your feet so that you can lift your hips and place that object that you have underneath that sacrum, so that your hips are elevated slightly. Maybe your object is a block and your hips are elevated more, but just something that you're not flat on the floor, just for a different sensation, just so that you get a different feeling in your hips and in your back. You might notice that it's more comfortable after our movement today to be elevated here. It's just a different stimulus for your body. You can play around with your foot and leg position. You can stay with a bent knee. You can extend your legs long. Right now, I'm feeling the love that I want to open the knees and have my diamond shape with my legs. So the soles of my feet are together, knees are open, and it's just giving me a nice open sensation in the hips. This might work for you, this might not work for you. You have to decide what feels best for you right now. And you might notice that you get into a particular shape and you take 2 or 3 breaths and you kind of decide, oh no, I've chosen incorrectly and I have to change. And that's fine. Or can you take a few breaths in a shape that you're not quite sure, it's a little uncomfortable, but you can still handle it. If you're in pain though, you need to change. Change your modification. Find what works best for you. And just breathe. If you have found a shape that works really good for you, I invite you to stay there. Or if you'd like to change and come into something that's a little bit more comfortable, maybe coming into your traditional Shavasana or another modification, I do invite you to kind of make your way slowly there now. So if your hips are elevated and it's not quite working for you, then lift your body, move the prop out of the way, and bring yourself flat onto your mat. You might notice that you need a particular move or movement to release, to feel a little better. And then choose where you're going to finish your practice in. What shape is going to be your final rest pose for today's practice? Regardless of what the shape is, you want to be pretty comfortable. You don't want to be exerting energy. You want this opportunity for your body to kind of rest, absorb your movement, absorb your practice, take in all the goodness. Choosing a shape that you can hold for a nice minimum 5 breaths. It's like the recess after your work effort. so that your body has time to process. It allows the work effort to leave your body. It allows your mind also to process everything. Sometimes during our practice, our movement, we not only find shifts in our body, but we find shifts in our mindset. Are you in the same mood now as when you started your practice? Are you in a better mood? Hopefully the answer is yes. Hopefully you're not in a worse mood. We want to enjoy all the good things from our practice. Allow the breath to freely move in and out. Expanding with the inhale, releasing with the exhale. Bring awareness back to your breath, back to the space. And then invite those small movements back into your body. Slowly and gently waking it up. If you are on your back, slowly make your way up into a sit position. Once you come to a sit position, try to find a nice tall spine. Maybe loop the shoulders around to get nice and tall. Choose your hand position. We'll take one big breath here. Nice deep inhale. Release in your exhale. We finish our practice here, honoring the light within. Namaste. Thank you once again for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now. Please consider subscribing to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and share the link.